So I love this list because this is how to just simplify what you can eat. I want you to eat a diet based on vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, mushrooms, nuts, seeds, herbs, and spices in infinite tasty combinations. There are so many ways to make this delicious. You could take a bowl of rice and beans. I have a video where I showed this. You can make all sorts of different versions of just rice and beans. So I just got back from Mexico visiting my parents, and we had lots of rice and beans with cilantro and salsa and guacamole and all sorts of deliciousness in that same bowl of rice and beans. But you could take another rice and beans and you can make it curry style. I spent time in Thailand and I would eat black rice and beans and lentils and legumes, and we would turn it into with all these Thai flavors. And you could go anywhere in the world and you could have a completely different palate. So essentially, there is something for everyone. There are infinite ways to enjoy these delicious, staple, health promoting foods, which we're going to dive into, of course. So what does this look like? This is an example. I don't want anyone to go, oh my gosh, I have to eat exactly this every single day and be perfect 3 times a day. There is no perfect. And I always ask everyone to remember that perfection can be the root of the inhibition of progress. And we've all heard that before. But if you go in this going, I'm going to try to eat like this, I'm going to try to get these foods, I'm going to try to just explore with this, that's fine. If you don't have to eat 100% RDI or DRI, the daily recommended foods every single day. I don't think that's even possible, especially with our current crisis of overnutrition, which is very consuming around the world. We just need to focus on like an idea. This is just a sketch and an outline of what to think about your plate. Like I said, we're trying to redefine the plate. This is an example. This was my plant-based nutrition plate. Also, you could find this in my books and on my website if you want to look at it and have the numbers and all that. But everyone agrees. I mean, everyone except for the fad diet groups out there, everyone agrees that half your plate should come from fruits and vegetables. This is USDA, Harvard, this is the American Institute of Cancer Research. Vegetables and fruits, half your plate, half your day, lots of color, and we'll talk about all the incredible benefits of these foods soon. Another little, and you can see leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables have their own little category because those are extraordinary. We'll talk about that in the next slide or two. But those should be a part of your staple diet, probably one of the most important ones. And then there's legumes. So you want to have about 1 to 1.5 cups. It's about 2 to 3 servings a day of any kind of beans, lentils, peas. Hummus should be a food group. Or soy foods like tofu and tempeh count in this category as well. This is where you get a lot of your essential amino acids and all sorts of fiber. We'll talk more about that later, but about 1/4 of your plate from legumes. Then you'll see I put a little section for mushrooms. I added those recently just because of their extraordinary health benefits, which we'll talk about on the next slide also. So try to incorporate those on a weekly basis, not necessarily have to be every single day. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect by any means. And then fats. I recommend fats come from whole food sources. So nuts, seeds, avocados, and I don't recommend oils. That's because oil is pure fat. Basically, you take the almond or you take the olive or you take whatever it is, and you extract all of the fat. It's pure fat. You're taking out all that health promoting fiber, and most of the nutrition, almost all the oils are much less nutritious than the original food. And you're ending up with 2,000 calories a cup of oil. All oils are about 2,000 calories a cup. Now you may say that's a lot. Who has a cup of oil? But if you think about it over the course of a day, you pour some oil over your salad, you pour it into a pan and you make up a stir fry. It adds up really quickly. And 2,000 calories is more than some people need in an entire day. So I don't recommend oils for the majority of population. Most people come to me for weight loss, and most people come to me because they have high cholesterol. And in those cases, especially, I have them completely avoid oil. My recipes don't have oil. It's so easy to cook and bake without any oil. It's just become super easy. You just have to kind of think about it, think outside of what you're used to. Again, it's just a little bit different, but this is where we recommend you get your fats. And so I recommend 1 to 2 ounces or 30 to 40 grams of nuts and seeds a day. That's because, well, we'll talk about that in the next slide, but that's where the preponderance of evidence shows all of the cardiometabolic and actually weight loss benefits. There's a lot of benefits to consuming a little bit of nuts and seeds every day. And then whole grains has a category down there. Whole grains are super healthy. diets have been founded upon whole grains for centuries, millennia, since the beginning of time. They are staples. They are accessible. They are low in cost. They are culinarily diverse. They add to all the diversity. You can make all sorts of deliciousness with whole grains. And they are great for satiety. So they're wonderful foods. And there's so many. So there's a lot of gluten-free ones if you're considering gluten-free, like all of the rices. I love black forbidden rice or purple rice. There's wild rice, brown rice. There's other things besides rice. I think there's 40,000 varieties of rice I've read that are edible. There's barley, oats, there's whole wheat if you're not gluten-free, but there's also things like amaranth and quinoa and millet and all sorts of deliciousness. And if you want, you can sprout them and get a little bit extra nutrition from them, but it's a wonderful thing to include in your diet.